Hello Tech and AI news friends. Today we're going to look into a team up between Intel and Google, a WordPress plugin vulnerability, and a Fusion startup nabbing $7.1 billion in funding. This is the Daily Bite. Google and Intel team up powering AI infrastructure. Google and Intel just deepened their partnership in a big way. Intel's Xeon 6 processors are now going to power Google Cloud's AI workloads, inference tasks, and general-purpose computing. But here's the really interesting part. The two companies aren't just doing a standard supply deal. They're actually co-developing custom chips together, including specialized IPUs. This is a multi-generation commitment from Google, which is huge for Intel during a time when everyone's scrambling for CPU supply. With global chip shortages still creating headaches, this partnership could lead to more optimized solutions specifically built for AI workloads. It's a win-win. Google secures the infrastructure it needs to keep scaling its AI ambitions, and Intel locks in a major customer while staying relevant in the AI chip race. Backdoors found in dozens of WordPress plugins. This is bad, like really bad for WordPress users. Security researchers just discovered that attackers planted backdoors in over 30 WordPress plugins, affecting more than 20,000 installations across thousands of websites. The scary part? These backdoors stayed completely dormant until the attackers decided to flip the switch. Once activated, they started distributing malicious code everywhere. We're talking about popular plugins like Widget Logic and Access Press. The backdoors let attackers create admin accounts without even logging in, inject malicious PHP code, and here's the kicker. They installed multiple backdoors, so even if you find and remove one, they've got backup entry points. This is a textbook supply chain attack, and it's a huge wake-up call for anyone running WordPress sites to check their plugin list immediately. Amazon just dropped over $11.5 billion in cash to acquire Globalstar, the satellite company that currently powers Apple's emergency SOS feature. They're paying $90 per share and getting everything, all the satellite operations infrastructure, and those valuable mobile satellite services spectrum licenses. This is all going into Project Kuiper, Amazon's answer to SpaceX's Starlink. The market loved it. Amazon stock jumped 2.7%. Globalstar shot up over 10%. This move puts Amazon in direct competition with Starlink for satellite internet dominance, and it shows they're dead serious about building out global connectivity infrastructure. It's a massive play that gives Amazon instant access to operational satellites and spectrum instead of building everything from scratch. Science Corp, ready for first human brain sensor. Max Hodak, the ex-Neuralink president who founded Science Corp, is about to hit a major milestone. His company is preparing to implant a 520 electrode sensor directly onto a human cortex during an existing brain surgery at Yale. Now, this first trial is testing the sensor without embedded neurons, kind of like a proof of concept step. But the long-term vision here is incredible. They're working toward restoring sight to blind patients and delivering electrical stimulation to damaged brain and spinal cord cells to actually encourage healing. This is brain-computer interface technology moving from science fiction to medical reality. If successful, we could be looking at breakthrough treatments for people with vision loss, spinal cord injuries, and brain damage. The fact that we're at the human trial stage shows just how fast this field is advancing. This robot folds boxes in 12 seconds flat. Gen 1 is a new AI robotics model that's absolutely crushing it at repetitive factory tasks. We're talking 99% success rates on things like folding boxes, packing smartphones, and even servicing vacuum cleaners. The speed improvement is wild. It folds boxes in 12 seconds compared to 34 seconds for older models. That's almost 3 times faster. But what really impressed me is that it can improvise when things go wrong. Like if someone messes with it mid-task, it figures out how to recover. And it only needs 1 hour of robot-specific training to transfer skills to a new robot body. This is the kind of progress that makes truly autonomous manufacturing feel like it's actually happening, not just some distant future promise. Factories and warehouses are definitely paying attention to this one. Brett Taylor claims the end of button clicking. Brett Taylor, the former Salesforce co-CEO who now leads Sierra, a $10 billion AI startup, just made a bold prediction. He says the era of clicking buttons is over. According to Taylor, we're moving toward a world where you'll interact with enterprise software using natural language instead of hunting through menus and clicking around. Just tell the system what you want, and it does it. No more learning complicated navigation workflows, or where that one feature is buried 3 menus deep. Sierra is clearly positioning itself to lead this transformation. If Taylor's right, this represents a fundamental shift in how we design and use software. It could make complex enterprise systems accessible to people who've never been technical, which honestly sounds pretty great for anyone who's ever been frustrated by clunky software interfaces. Anthropic limits Mythos release, security, or strategy. Anthropic has decided to pump the brakes on releasing Claude Mythos, its latest AI model, and the reasoning is complicated. The company says they're limiting the rollout because Mythos has advanced cyber capabilities that could be exploited by hackers for catastrophic attacks. They've delayed the Mythos preview with no specific timeline for when it'll be available to everyone. On the surface, this sounds responsible. Give critical systems time to harden before releasing something potentially dangerous. But here's where it gets interesting. This decision comes right after Anthropic's recent disputes with the US government. So the question everyone's asking is this really about protecting the internet from hackers, or is there more going on behind the scenes? Either way, it highlights how advanced AI capabilities are increasingly being treated like potential weapons, which has huge implications for regulation and public access to technology. Gen Z's AI honeymoon is over. A new Gallup study just dropped, and it reveals something fascinating about the generation that grew up with smartphones. Their love affair with AI is crumbling fast. Excitement about AI among Gen Z plummeted 14 percentage points in just 1 year, while hopefulness crashed from 27% down to 18%. But here's the really striking part. Anger toward AI surged from 22% to 31% of respondents. The weirdest twist? Their actual usage hasn't changed at all. They're still using AI tools at the same rate. They're just increasingly angry about it. This matters because Gen Z is supposed to be the most digitally native generation, the early adopters who embrace new tech without hesitation. Their growing skepticism and frustration could reshape how companies approach AI development and how policymakers regulate it going forward. Amazon bets $200 billion on AI dominance. Andy Jassy just released his annual shareholder letter, and the number at the center of it is absolutely staggering. Amazon plans to spend approximately $200 billion in capital expenditures this year, with the majority going toward AI infrastructure. That's not a typo, $200 billion. Jassy made it clear this isn't some speculative gamble or gut feeling. It's a data-driven strategic bet to dominate cloud computing for the next decade. The letter provided detailed justification for Amazon's massive investments in AI, custom chips, and even satellite technology. This spending demonstrates just how intense the AI arms race has become among tech giants. Amazon is essentially going all in to maintain its leadership position in cloud services and AI capabilities. The scale of this investment could fundamentally reshape the competitive landscape of both cloud computing and AI services for years to come. Fusion energy startups hit $7.1 billion in total funding. Here's some perspective on the fusion energy race. Startups chasing fusion power have now raised $7.1 billion total, but most of that capital is concentrated in just a handful of companies. The big players in the 100 million plus club include Commonwealth Fusion Systems, TEI Technologies, Helion, Pacific Fusion, Shine Technologies, and General Fusion, which just raised over $500 million in a late 2025 round. The recent surge in investment is driven by advances in computer chips, AI for plasma control, and superconducting magnets. Fusion has always been the energy source that's perpetually 20 years away, but this level of concentrated capital shows investors are betting that timeline might finally be shrinking. The question is whether even $7.1 billion is enough to crack one of physics' toughest problems and deliver commercial fusion energy. Is this information helpful? Let me know in the comments. Tap like, hit subscribe, and share with a friend. It really helps the channel. See you in the next edition of the Daily Bite.